on this program are solely their own and do not represent the views or opinions of Blind United. We strive to provide diverse perspectives and discussions on our platform, but the opinions expressed should be understood as personal viewpoints and not reflective of Blind United as an organization.
Let's get ready to rumble! Y'all ready for this?
Good morning, everyone.
Good Wednesday. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Good Wednesday morning, everyone, and welcome back to Coffee Time with Blind United. Of course, I'm Ed, and we got Brittany with us today. Good morning, Britt.
Good morning. Happy Hump Day. Hump the ones you love, I guess.
And then we got my brother George. Good morning, George.
Hey, I am not gonna make fun of Britt today. That was pretty good. Hey, how you doing?
All right, and then we got Pedro pushing all the buttons today.
Hey, all I gotta say,
What?
stolen. That's it. Nothing else. No, I just play good. Happy Wednesday, everybody. Happy Wednesday. I'm over here.
They stole my power, so therefore I'm working off of my telephone, and this is a strange environment for me, but we're making it happen. We're here again today. So let me get right into these interest groups. Basically, we got both of the interest group leaders in here with us today. We got Brittany and Pedro at 5 o'clock with beginning AI.
George and Pedro.
And then that's at 5 p.m. Pacific time. And then at 6 o'clock, right behind it, you don't need to, you got time to go maybe grab a glass of water or soda or something like that and come right back. And then you jump into Pedro and his technology class. So that'll be at 6 p.m. Pacific time. So that's the interest groups we got for today. I don't think we have any articles because I didn't get the chance to get any loaded in before the power went out. So, I guess it's just conversation today. I know we're supposed to stay away from it, but I don't know how we can avoid it.
Well, I think it would be irresponsible for us not to touch on it because, folks, at the end of the day, talking about politics in a certain way does impact people with disabilities, right? No matter what we try to say that it doesn't or doesn't. So I think it would be irresponsible for us not to touch on it because, what the consequences might be.
And quick disclaimer, this is our opinion. Does not reflect on United as an organization. Just to put that out there.
And that's why we played at the beginning. Maybe we need to play it throughout. Maybe we need to start playing that with the other commercials. I don't know. I mean, just so people understand, this is our opinion. This is not Blind United's opinion. This is Ed's opinion, Pedro's opinion, George, and Brittany. It's our personal opinion. We are part of Blind United.
And Mr. Davis, also to that, sometimes people, in regards to perception, when it comes to people with disabilities across the board, they might say, well, they don't know about this, or they don't talk about this, or why would they talk? So having these type of discussions in the public forum is not a bad thing. Again, it's our opinion, but at the same time, it shows, and I hate to say this, the other individuals that we do have a thought. We do have the capacity to think or to vote. So
Hmm.
having this discussion is not a bad thing. People might twist it and say it is, but it's not.
No, you're right, George. You're right. We're not only blind people and only about blind things like other people believe. Like some sighted people, oh, y'all must have your own thing. This, only y'all. But we have our opinions. We're regular people. We're just like anyone else. And not touching on the subject, uh, I guess wouldn't be authentic of our live that we do, being that we're live and we're on what, 5 times a week,
Yes, sir.
so you know so what's your basic opinion, then we get into our predictions later.
Well, it just. Oh, go ahead, Mr. Davis. You probably
I
be
mean,
the.
again, I'm still in shock. I'm being honest. I just can't not believe that, as of, I don't know, midnight when I laid down or whatever, they had him at projected to get like 100, I'm sorry, 310, 315 on the electoral, as well as win the popular vote. I don't know, unless I'm just, in denial. I just don't see it. I mean, I'm sorry. I mean, I don't see it. But I mean, again, well, we're not going to do like he did and storm the Capitol, I guess. Hopefully not. But, hopefully we can do between now, we got what, 30, 45 days, something like that, before the 6th of January. Before, all this is done to try to sort this all of this stuff out before he takes the oath and make sure that
Mhm.
everything was on the up and up. That's all.
Yeah, yeah, but you know one thing is that you can't cry and say if you lose it's stolen and now you win and everything's good. You know what I mean? That's just one thing in my opinion. It's like, so all of a sudden, our system is not corrupt. It's not being stolen. All of a sudden, that he won.
Well, I mean,
That's
of
funny
course,
to me.
that's exactly what he would have done had he lost, right?
Hmm.
But again, I mean, we know what he would have done if he lost. And for me, I just can't believe the numbers. I mean, again, what I'm waiting for now is how many people actually voted in comparison to the last 20 in 2020.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah, and we
Yeah, I
won't.
feel like more people voted in 2020 because we saw what kind of president he was. We had a pandemic. People realized, oh crap, we got to get this man out of office. And I believe that people forget. They forget what that maybe people forgot how that last 4 years was. I mean, that's the only logical conclusion that I could come up with of why this happened. I mean, the
Mhm.
other conclusion that I've had to come up with is that maybe we're just not ready for a female president, a woman president, and then she was a woman of color. Maybe there are just pockets of this country that are still sexist and racist. I mean, I
Yeah, and
can't come up with any other conclusion.
yeah, and that could be the case. And also, I believe our media, like our news outlets, did us a disservice. There was a story out there. There's new tapes from Michael Wolff that they've been on in a vault, Epstein's vault, sitting there. Allegedly, FBI have picked these images, videotapes, and audio tapes, and these audio tapes from the horse's mouth say he was a best friend to our now duly elected president, you know? And I don't think they put that out there like that. The images, the photos that they were describing, how Epstein knew how the inner workings of the White House were happening. How would he know unless he had the inside ball man, his friend, talking to him? So to me it's like we have somebody that is a woman abuser, you know been verified by the tapes of this you know, the CEO of, trafficking and stuff like that, you know?
No, well, I think a lot has to do is what have you done for me lately? And what I mean by that is, right now, the inflation, it's been worse. I'm not gonna lie to you under different administrations, but I guess right
Mhm.
now some people have to pay X amount for eggs and milk, and so they see that, and when a certain candidate emphasizes the economy, and then, even though they don't give a plan, but they'll say they'll make the economy better. I think that's what people say. You know what? I want to vote for this person. And Brittany kind of touched on that too about I don't think we're ready for a female president, especially of color. And it's sad that Mexico has elected their own female president before we did. But
Freaking
it's just,
Pakistan has elected a female president. Was it Pakistan?
oh
Yeah, a lot
yeah,
of
oh
these
yeah. There's
other
been,
countries have, and we
Yes.
haven't. Like, what kind of crap is that?
but I think that a lot of the talking heads I hear this morning is saying that the exit polls were the main thing was not really immigrants or immigration is really the economy, which I agree. Because right now going to buy food is you're like, wow, all that for $100, or I didn't get that much, like I used to. So I think
Of
that's what
course. I see it all the time when I shop.
and I think that's what people are just kind of seeing. Okay, you know what? This is was currently was being done. It's not working. So maybe by picking Trump, it
Mhm.
might change the course. So I don't know.
Yeah.
It
Yeah,
amazes me that everything that he's
mhm.
done and said, he still get elected. So
Yeah, yeah, that I see what you're saying, and also I believe that the bar was set really high for her, and the bar for him was set real low. She had to
yeah,
be perfect on screen, perfect with her comebacks. She couldn't, you know how sometimes it'll be like, oh, the mean old, the mean old lady. She couldn't come back all like looking like
And that's
she's.
the thing with women. I noticed that with Hillary and Kamala, like they had to be perfect. They couldn't
Hmm.
be aggressive. Men are held to a different standard than women are. And then also being a person of color, like I remember Obama, he was just the bar was way higher for him. He couldn't say, do, wear, whatever. He was judged on everything. And I believe that Kamala had both of those things against her, being.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah, you're right, Brittany. Because remember when he put like a basketball court and he was playing basketball, and they were talking mess about him in the media,
yeah.
and they were like, "Oh, now we got somebody just playing basketball," and you know what I mean? Like, come on, man, it's
And
basketball, it's a
even
sport.
though they didn't mention that his brother-in-law was a coach for Villanova or something. I forgot his brother, but I guess what we have to take from this is Trump is not a traditional politician, and I think
Hmm.
people are looking at that. I guess because again, going back to what I said, and I think kind of Brittany touched on this. No matter what he said and done in the past, we could complain all we want about what he said and done. So he still got elected, and so the point is to me now is how did that happen, or why did that happen? What caused that person to say, you know what, Kamala's not a good choice, but Trump is, despite everything he said and done, right? So that's what I'm curious. Like, what made people flip? Because for example, what Brittany's saying about not that many people voting here here in El Paso, guys. They're kind of giving like a little a snapshot. 10,000 people this year voted less than 2022. I'm sorry, 2020. I'm sorry,
Hmm.
10,000 less people voted. So that
Less.
tells you a lot, you know.
Hmm.
Can
Now
you guys
you're
hear
on
me?
there. Yeah, I added you. But
Okay.
yeah, continue, George. Yeah, they were showing that on the news.
But I guess that to me is just a more of a what made that person hit that Trump button compared to Kamala or whoever, right?
Hmm.
But the thing is to me, like, okay, no matter what happened, he got voted in. Now we have to see what's going
And
to happen next. But
Well,
yeah.
another theory on this, guys, is in Brett, is that people are saying, well, it's so overwhelming that Kamala's going to win. I don't need to vote. You get a lot of that stuff will happen. Oh, well, they don't need my vote. She got enough, so I'm not going to worry about it. It's too much headache standing in line or whatever. And this is what happens. That's why I said, before I got put away, but I want to see the actual numbers. I want to see the comparison as to how many people actually voted in comparison to 20.
Yeah, and I think
You
we.
know,
Yeah, no, I get you, Ed. But another thing that irritates me is it's not just you're voting for president, you're voting for all these different propositions. You're voting for whoever's going to be in the Senate, or you're voting for whoever's going to be, I don't know, dog catcher in your city. It's not
Mhm,
just president. Everybody, you got to vote. If it's for mayor or city council, whoever it is, it affects your life. Every little thing
mhm.
affects your life. I mean, it's not just the president. I think that voting is very important, and I don't think people really think about it in that way. And I get it. I mean, most people work, they're not watching politics all day. They don't really know what's going on. All
Mhm.
they know is, oh crap, gas is expensive or eggs are expensive or whatever, so that
Yes.
makes a
I
lot of
mean,
sense to me.
Yes, of
I
course.
agree with you, Britt. I agree with you as well, Britt. You know what I'm saying? It's just that I think that the majority of voters, period, I hate to say it, but they're just uninformed. You know what I'm saying? They they vote because they feel it's their duty to vote, but they don't really get into the nuts and bolts of it. You know what I'm saying? Like you said, they don't look into, okay, well, who's my next congressman or my next city councilor, my next mayor, or my, what's this problem about? And what's that problem about? Is this going to raise taxes or whatever? They don't really get into it all that way. The only thing they see is what's at the top of the ballot.
Oh, and not
You
only that,
know,
Mr. Davis, but like here in El Paso, our one of the candidates running for mayor, he brought in Emmett Smith to campaign for him. So I guarantee you, people that love Dallas, I want to vote for him, no matter what his platform is, no matter who's giving him money. Hey, he had Emmett Smith in his corner. I'm going to vote, and that's what I'm saying, to educate, like you were saying, Mr. Davis, educate yourself. Like who's giving money to these, who's donating to these campaigns. That tells you a lot. And to me, when you just vote because you saw him on TV with Emmett Smith, that's not a really good way to vote.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I do agree with Brittany. People are on that daily grind, so sometimes paying close attention, you know, gets difficult. I know from people I talked to and some of my friends that were like, okay, I'm voting for him because he's a businessman. He's a businessman. He's been, he could probably run this as smoothly like a business. And the thing is to me is you don't want a lousy businessman to run a business because it's gonna run it. It's gonna run it bad. It's not even gonna run it good. You know,
I mean, I
but
agree with you, Pedro. I mean, like back in the day, one of George's homeboys down there. You remember George Ross Perot? I don't know. Did I
Yes,
lose you,
I'm
George?
sorry. Yeah, Ross Perot. Yes, sir. Hmm.
I mean, again, he was a great businessman. I was going to vote for him, right? Had he made it to the final thing, I was voting for him because why? He was a good businessman. And yes, in essence, government is a business. But when you got somebody that file bankruptcy, what? I don't know how many times is the actual
more than
number,
eight.
but it's well, I mean, again, but then I've heard there's only 6 or 7, right? I don't know, but whatever it is multiple bankruptcies, and then you got the people to say, "Oh, well, that's smart business to dismiss your debt, to not pay your bills. That's smart business."
That is, look, that means they don't know how bankruptcy works. Because if we would have filed bankruptcy as an individual, we would have been ruined. You know what I mean? We-
I just for us now is ya pasó, ya pa qué, it happened already, you know, and for those Spanish people. And the thing is,
For
you
somebody that
know,
don't speak Spanish, you sure speak a lot of Spanish, George.
that was French actually, to be honest with you, sir. But the point is, now he's elected. Now we have to
Mhm.
see what the repercussions, because there's been rumors or whatnot about him and the Republicans wanting to cut
No,
back on
there's
Social
no
Security.
rumors. It came out of his own mouth.
No, but what I'm saying is, I'm trying to lighten the punch here. is that Social Security might be impacted or could be impacted, Medicare, Medicaid, all that stuff, and abortion, and so now what? Now we have to see what the next 4 years comes to be. Um, and to be honest with you, there's times that he can't even enunciate better than I am than I can, because I was listening to some videos. I was talking to Mr. Davis about this. It sounded like he had a mini stroke, and I'm not trying to be a smart guy or when you can't see him, you could hear him, so you take away from that, right? And just recently, he was in a panel, and he was talking. And I even told my wife, I goes, "Is it me or is he slurring?" She goes, "Yeah, he is. Might be
No,
because he was tired. I get it,
George.
on the campaign."
Also a disclaimer. I'm completely blind, but there was a photo online that they were describing. It was a small clip. It was actually a video when he was walking to the trash can truck. He was kind of dragging I think his left or right foot. One of his foots, he was dragging it a little.
And then I get maybe he was tired because of the camp. I get it, but at the same time, you're gonna be the most powerful man in the world. You don't have downtime. I think that's why they push Biden out of the way. And that's another thing. People are saying that's another cause why Kamala didn't get elected, because she came into the game a little too late, right?
Yeah, that's
So
another theory.
hmm So I don't know. It just it happened. It is what it is now. Now we have to see what's going to happen for the next 4 years, right?
Yeah.
Well, for me right now, my only hope is, there are still some Republicans that are in office, whether it's in the Congress, in the Senate, that are not far right. They're not mega, right? So, as far as I'm concerned, I mean, he's got the House, he's got the Senate, he's got the White House, and also he's got the judicial branch.
Trifecta. He got the trifecta.
So my point being, hopefully there's enough, old school Republicans, as you want to go there, right, that are going to kind of be guardrails to keep him from doing all of the stuff he truly wants to do, that he said he's going to do.
Mm-hmm.
I think what is said and what could be done legally, that's what we have to. That's what folks have to realize. You can say whatever you want. I'm the president. I'm going to do this, but can you? Does the Constitution allow you? Does it have to go to the Congress? Does that? So we have to keep that in mind, folks. He might say he's going to do this, and I'm going to do that, but can he really do it?
But George, remember his last 4 years? He got it the EPA. He stopped the pandemic. The thing we have for the pandemic, before the pandemic even happened. He couldn't see the future, of course, but he decided to get rid of got the EPA, take the provisions of the pandemic stuff that Obama put there. He took all that out. He was trying to roll back Obamacare. What else? The meat problem that we just had. It would think 9 people died, 50 something injured because of the deli meat, and he took those provisions out. And he defunded that department, right, Ed? And he let the meat packaging companies police themselves, and we had this issue happen with tainted meat, deli meat.
Well, that's what I'm saying. What you just said, Mr. Pedro, is that the Republicans are known to be on the corporate side because they reduce restrictions, they empower the corporate entity to make money, and so I get that point. But at the same time, what does it do to the consumer? Right? Like, for example, what you just said about, I think that was what you're talking about, was he removed, the White House had a what was it? It was a pandemic response team or something like that Obama had put together because of what happened in Africa's Ebola.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And so Trump decided, yeah, we don't need it. Go ahead and get rid of it. Well, of course, he didn't know the future, but the point is that's what the Republicans like to do. They strip down the requirements, the restrictions, the policies to make it easier to make the money at the end of the day, right? This is what it really is. On both sides, guys. We're not going to be Democrats or Republicans. It's all about the money, honey, right? But the only bad thing about it, when you have a president that gives that the hate speeches. Remember, folks, and I hate to remind folks, what happened here in El Paso, August the 3rd, 2019. A man came into a Walmart here, not even 2 miles from my home, and killed 23 people. And they say because of what happened, the hate speech from Trump. That's what they say. And so we see that right here, especially here in El Paso. We saw that hate, and so people have to realize there's when that rhetoric goes out there, there's people out there that are single minded and will do it. Will go and attack lesbians. Will attack whites. Blacks, Mexicans, right? And it's just because of the color of skin. Oh, you're Mexican. You can't talk English. You're an immigrant. I was born here, brother. So that's what we have to remember, guys. All that rhetoric could really impact us.
Yes, yes, that is true, George. And another thing is like, we voted for an elite to get in office. Someone that I don't believe has struggled, has been with the people. I know that a lot of supporters say he's for their people, for his supporters. I don't see it though. Selling $400 sneakers to your supporters, selling Bibles, man. I think he would even sold the kitchen sink if he had the chance.
But I think what helped him too, Pedro,
Yes.
Trump, is being very public. Like he went on, especially like going on to Joe Rogan. That
Mhm.
that last count on that episode, and that was only a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago, like
Mhm.
almost
No,
39
it
million
was only a
people.
few days ago. It wasn't no more than a week ago.
Well, something like that. It was 39 million people, 39 million views. For
I
Kamala,
watched some of it too.
and Kamala really didn't. I think the biggest one she went to was at Shay Shay, and that was 800,000. So maybe that can, people just heard his voice, and when he was on Joe Rogan, he was different. That was a different man. He spoke like he was just a normal person, and I'm a cool guy. And if you'd never really heard him, if that was the first experience with Trump, you're gonna be like, oh, this guy's okay, right? But if you start hearing about all you have to do is touch a woman's, or this or that, you'd be like, this is the same guy, right?
Yeah, yeah. I
But
get what you're saying, George, and I did watch the interview. And let me tell you, Joe Rogan was pressing him. He did press him on a few points. Um, but Trump was dodging. He was dodging. He was like when they told him about the stolen election that Trump keeps saying he won. He was like, I got papers. I could come show you. I could bring them. But if you were gonna be asked this, this what people are asking. Wouldn't you bring these documents with you?
of course,
So he's a good dodger. I think he could he talks pretty simple and keeps it plain and keeps it not touching in great details that he doesn't give you enough. So if you're listening, barely
Well,
listening to him, you like, oh man, I see that. I see that.
well, can I tell you
but
my personal experience?
but
Oh, go
hold
ahead,
on,
Mr.
but hold on. I want to visit something he said there. Like he said, okay, if you got proof, but why wouldn't you have brought it? How about this one? If you had proof, why did you lose your cases in court?
Yeah, and Joe Rogan, I thought he had a person that looked stuff up like he does with other guests. He didn't have no one there look that up. He didn't
Because
even
Donald
ask
Trump
Jamie.
puts it into his thing that he is not to be fact checked.
I
Well,
know
and
why.
can I tell you, just give you a
Go ahead,
little
George.
kind of perspective of my personal experience, and this is not regarding president, of course. When I filed my ethics complaint against the city rep here in El Paso, uh, just to give you people a real quick overview, there's a city council member that was using their gas card. The city issued gas card when she was not even here in El Paso. She was in Vancouver or in Canada, yet her card was being used here in El Paso. How could that happen? And there's videos that's KBIA, a local station, have her husband filling up his car with that card. So when I filed my complaint questioning that, right away people are like, how dare you? Don't you know what she does for people with disabilities? How dare you? I'm like, okay, I'm talking about her ethics complaint, what she did with that card. I'm going to have nothing personal against her. So when we went to the hearing, they would ask her straight out, how was your card used here in El Paso, yet you're in Vancouver or you're in Canada? Well, you know what I do for my constituents? I go to every home every time. And again, the lady asked, I didn't ask you that. I asked you, how are the cards used here if you're in Canada? And again, folks, well, when I did it, and even the person asking the question got upset. I go, why are you not answering my question? And let me get another one, another one, folks. So she was using her gas card, and she was saying, well, I have to go throughout my whole district. And you know what she said, folks? She said, and I'm not joking, you go back and look at it. She said, and the guy asked, one of the Essex commissioners asked, well, how big is your district? She responded, it's 783 centimeters. No, 783 million centimeters. And I'm like, did I hear that correctly? 700 million? What she was doing, folks, and making it look bigger.
Mm-hmm.
So the guy, and he's a lawyer, he just put out his calculator. So you're saying that 700 million is actually 26 square feet or square miles. So that's what I'm saying, folks. They twist it how they wanted people to hear it, right? So we're going back to what I'm saying about Joe Rogan. So if someone really, that first experience was Trump, they're going to say, oh, wow, this guy's not that bad. But they don't know the other stuff.
Yeah, and Joe Rogan says it all the time. He's not someone to ask about politics. He doesn't. But he is a good interviewer.
And you're right. You're right, Pedro. He did press him. You're right. I'm not gonna lie. It wasn't that snow. It wasn't like, oh, how real light.
He pressed him somewhat. Yeah, he did.
Yeah, he did press
somewhat.
him. Mm-hmm.
But I think he could have pressed him a little more. I know about the Jamie stuff. That I think Joe Rogan should have said, no, Jamie's part of the show. This is what we do. He should have stuck to his guns and said, this is part of the show. If you don't want...
Oh, Jamie wasn't there?
Well, they didn't. When Trump said some stuff, Joe Rogan could have been, hey, Jamie, look this up.
Oh, that's right. You're right.
Bring this up and show us, like he does with other scientists and other people.
But that was a smart move. You got to give it to his campaigns. Go on the Joe Rogan experience. Getting that 39, 38, whatever it is, million.
Yeah.
That was a smart move.
I mean, you got to give it up to Trump anyway. Like, just going on all these different podcasts, TV shows. Marketing, dude. I mean, at the end of the day, he's really good at promoting his brand. He is a brand. His kid.
You know what it is, Miss Britt? He's an entertainer.
Yes. Thank
That's
you,
what
George.
it is.
Thank you. That's the word I was looking for.
And,
he's an entertainer. He's not a politician.
He went to all these podcasts, but if you look at it, these podcasts were a lot of right-wing podcasts.
But he knows and understands his audience, and you got to give him that
true.
as well.
That is true. He is good at that, brand creation and things like that. But he's the president. What we can do? The votes are in, they're getting counted and stuff like that. He's the president-elect. We're not gonna be like certain people that what happened in 2020 and things like that, But I hope there's some type of guardrails. You know what I mean? We did have the Supreme Court, or it was the Supreme Court, right, Ed, that wrote.
Yeah, they gave him unlimited power.
Unlimited power, immunity. I know we have a big conflict in the middle in the Middle East over there with Israel and
Pedro,
what's happening over there. Mm-hmm.
Can I interrupt you real fast? Miss Paula Collard from El Paso is watching with us. Hello, Miss Paula. How you doing?
Hello to El Paso.
Hey, El Paso. ¿Cómo estás? No habla español.
Damn, that sounded good though.
I know that sounded pretty good.
But Tisha said, "Good morning, everybody."
But you know what it is, guys. And to you,
hold on. Let the
but
comment
Tisha
go.
said good morning, and she said her baby daddy won for president. LOL, Tisha, you got jokes. But he probably do have a lot of kids around the world because he be grabbing people by the you know what. So he probably has a lot of kids.
According to Epstein, they were on women. But let's cut to a quick break. Let's pay some of these bills. We'll be right back, guys.
If you'd like to know more about Blind United, you can visit our website at blindunited.org. You can email us at info@blindunited.org. You can call us at 909-846-8825. You can follow us on Instagram at Blind United Interest Groups. You can follow us on X at Blind United 22. You can watch our YouTube channel, Blind United. You could join our Facebook group, Blind United Interest Groups, or you can follow our Facebook page, Blind United. Did you know that people in third world countries do not have access to canes? The You Cane Give initiative gives canes to people all over the world who cannot get canes. The You Cane Give initiative not only goes to these countries and gives people canes, but they give people canes and a digital recorder that is solar powered that has instructions on how to use the cane and instructions on how to repair the cane. The You Cane Give initiative is a very worthy cause, giving canes to blind people all over the world. If you have a cane that you're no longer using, or a cane that's broken or bent, you can go to youcanegive.org and get a shipping label, and you can ship your cane to Jimmy in Tennessee, and he will refurbish it and give your cane to a blind person in a third world country. That website again is youcanegive.org.
Well, again, if you folks can, please help out Jimmy and the youcanegive.org initiative. Again, he's just trying to help blind folks around the world get a cane for what they can't get a cane. If you can't donate, then he also has another way you can help out by going to customcane.com. That's custom with a K, and that's your one-stop cane shop. You can get whatever kind of cane you want, whatever way you want it decorated, whatever accessory you need. Jimmy's got it for you. Check him out, customcane.com. All right.
How about candy canes?
He gives them out at Christmas time.
Speaking of
That'd be
candy
cool.
canes, we
Maybe I
have a
need to
save
get
the
a cane
date.
that way. That's back to be my next cane, Brittany.
What? Candy canes?
A candy cane. I can give you one that's red with a swirl, white with a red swirl stripe down it.
That would be pretty cool. That would be pretty cool. But Ed, I have a question. What sneakers are you gonna wear to the sneaker ball that we're having?
I'm wearing Crocs.
That would be pretty cool, man. You could get giblets and you could decorate your Crocs. That would be
Sorry for
fun,
laughing.
actually. But
Right.
save the date, you guys. We have a sneaker ball coming up. That's December 28th. That's going to be held at the VFW in Monrovia. Men, come dressed in your suit and ties, your Sunday best. Women, a pantsuit or a skirt or a dress, and pair that with your sneakers. It doesn't matter if they're Vans, Converse, Dre's, whatever
How
you
about
want to
British
wear.
Knights?
Sure, whatever.
Remember those? You don't remember those?
Crocs. Those
You
aren't
remember the British
sneakers,
Knights?
but- No.
You don't? Come on, Miss Brit. Oh, no, you're younger. That's probably what it is.
Well,
know if anybody
no, in our
remembers it.
neighborhood, they were called blood killers.
Oh, were they? Oh, that's right. British Knights. Yeah,
BK,
yeah.
BK, blood killer.
Yeah, this is called BK. Then there was a Puma, the Taylors, the Chuck Taylors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
You know what? I'm gonna
Well,
trade my
Pedro, what
dressy
type of shoes are you gonna wear?
My dressy shoes, the one that I
Wait,
use
they
for
have to
those
be
occasions.
sneakers.
I always use sneakers all the time. I got several
Okay, well,
ones.
your
I
dressy
switch
sneakers.
I switch. Sometimes I have a pair for 1 week. I switch like 3 weeks, back and forth.
I want to wear
So
Chapas.
I got my dressy shoes. I got dressy shoes that sometimes I don't bring out and stuff that I got for those occasions. I'm gonna bring them out.
So you talking about you got some high end tennies that you don't normally wear.
No, because I believe tennies always need to be used. So even the
Well,
Jordans, when I'm
so
using them.
so let me ask this girl question more directly. Are you wearing sneakers to the sneaker ball?
I'm wearing my dressy shoes. That's how I was gonna go. I'm just letting y'all know. I was like, it's not my
Okay,
style, but y'all can do your thing. You can do your
well,
thing.
so
I
it's
have
okay
a
if I
dumb
don't wear a tie.
question. Why are we wearing sneakers and none of us can see each other's sneakers? Why are we dressing up? None of us can
Hey,
see each
hey,
other.
hey,
What's the
hey.
point?
No excuse now. You either have your phone, be my AI, Meta AI, Scene AI, Pixie Bot.
You could even bring AI Allen Iverson to the event.
Yeah, even that
Well,
AI could come through.
we probably get a lot more people show up if he was
Right?
Yeah, but yeah. Well, I'm gonna see. I might buy me a pair, show up. Buy that'd be my Christmas present to myself. You know what I mean? Give me some J's.
Well,
Them
Brittany has a
J's
good
are like,
point, guys, and I want to touch on Brittany's point. She had a good point because this is the kind of discussion that I had, and I know I'm ignorant to the fact where people could see, now that I can't see about, like parties, right? Like let's say we have a party that's oriented for people that are blind. Why do we have a disco with lights, like, or we have decorations, or why do we have to wear a suit if we can't see each other? Now, granted, we have the technology, right?
mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I guess I'm old school. Maybe in my thought, in my
Well,
thought process.
going
You
to a
know,
formal.
we think more logically, right? And logically, it doesn't make sense to have all of that stuff if you can't see it.
Well, that's just my opinion, but I
So,
never
so
understood that.
basically, guys, y'all want me to invite you to an event that's bare bone, nothing really, and just give you tables, some chairs, and not
And
even
some good food, and some good food and good music, good company.
well,
I'm
I
there.
mean, if there's good food, good alcohol, good music, I could care less what you're wearing.
But I'll be honest with you. Let's do this. How about this? How about we're sitting down and there's a celebrity sitting next to us, right? And we don't know, right? And all of a sudden, hey, there's so XX next to you. Really? I don't know. I couldn't see him. I could care less. I was eating my food. That's what I'm saying. I mean, does it really
it's
the
the
optics?
experience, guys.
Yeah, they're
Putting on your suit, your tie, something you probably haven't done in a minute, if you don't care about, how you look, getting that experience. Let me go sit down, have a dinner, woo,
But
woo,
just because
woo.
I don't want
And
to
then
wear a
there's gonna be
suit
a
don't mean.
celebrity around. They
Hold
might
on,
tell you.
hold on, dog. Just because I don't want to wear a suit don't mean I don't care about how I look.
exactly. I didn't want to say that, but you're right.
And I have an ego. Like, nobody's gonna be like, "Oh, I like your, I don't know, your tennis shoes. Oh, I like your dress or whatever." None of y'all can see it. What's
Yeah,
the point?
but yeah, and I get your point, but there is how can I say it? Okay, well, some
The
people.
ambiance. No, is that what you're trying to say? No, no, no. I guess
No,
not.
well, okay. There's a common. What's the proper word? But there is an idea, right? They be like, oh, look, blind people. They be having their shoes dirty, stains on their shirt, all kinds of stuff. That's what people associate blindness with too. You know that a negative. I can't even. Oh man,
Okay,
the
and then
word is
you ask
blank.
them how many blind people do you actually know?
Like me, honestly, guys, just
A
not for nothing.
lot, but I'm
Anybody that
saying what
I'm not talking about
people
you. I'm talking
perceive.
about the people that make that statement.
exactly, because it's like me. Like I'm probably like Monica, Pedro. When I go out, I make sure my shoes are clean. And people always tell me, "Oh, George, you dress very nice." It's because that's the way I am about myself, even when
Hmm.
I can see.
Hmm.
Now, you're right, Pedro. I've seen it where someone's blind. There's no excuse, folks. There is no excuse. If you're blind, totally blind, to be dirty and nasty. There's no reason,
And
folks. I'm sorry.
and I'm not gonna say that they're not there. We all know some of those folks, but that's not the
True.
whole community.
True.
Of
You're right.
course not. It's not the whole community. I'm saying there is a negative connotation,
Yes.
like stuck to that.
I'm not saying
Another,
that you shouldn't dress nice and you shouldn't care about your appearance. I'm just saying that it's weird to have themed events and you can't see, like the color party. Like, what was the point of that? Like, none of us can see the colors. Like, I mean, or if you're a partial, you can't really see the colors. Or even the
hmm
spooky evening. Like, I dressed up, nobody noticed my
I
costume.
noticed.
Well, that's because I let you feel it.
Oh, hey, It's a kids show here, guys. What's up?
Well, no, once I felt the
Then
helmet, George, I didn't go
then
any
I
further.
guess what I'm
I know.
then what we need to do is have a mic and for instance, we could have gone around and have everybody come and tell us their costume. Since we can't see it, we need to hear it verbally. And I think that could have probably made a difference on in that note. You know what
But
I mean?
to Pedro's point, you're right, Pedro, because there are people out there, unfortunately, that because I'm blind or Brittany or Mr. David and you, they think that we're lazy or we can't hear or we can't wipe our own butts or we can't
Mm-hmm.
feed ourselves. And that's just because they don't really know us. That's why I always tell people, don't be the reason, be the example. Don't go out there, I'm special, I'm blind, I could cut grass. No. You should be saying, you know what? If you really want to do it, folks, try it. Try
I
it.
cut grass being blind.
Look at Pedro. Pedro's a music producer, guys. Give me, and that's what I'm saying. Just because we're blind doesn't disconnect our brain, our
Mm-hmm.
arms, our leg. You know, it still works. It's just we just can't see. You know what I'm saying?
But back to these, I think what it is, these parties are trending, color parties, sneaker ball, all of these kind of things are trending things that are going on. A lot of folks within our community hear about them and they want to participate in that kind of stuff. And that's why we end up doing them. That's what I believe.
Yeah.
I just did that because at the color party, I'm like, you know what? That's cool, but if you can't see, you really don't get the full essence of the party. Yeah, I get it. You can sit
Mm-hmm.
there and say, "Oh, I'm wearing blue or I'm wearing red," but going back to what did we say yesterday? If I'm blind from birth, I don't know what blue is. I don't know what red is. How did that? You know what I'm saying? So I guess we have
Exactly.
to really look at that concept of we want to be trendy and do what the sighted people do, but does it really apply in our world? You know? So just a thought,
And
right?
it would be different if we were inviting. I mean, we can't. Sighted people are invited to these parties, but most of the people are blind. Like, I want to say, what, like 90% of the people at the spooky evening were blind. Like, what was the point?
And I think the problem with that is, Britain, not enough people have hung out with us and know and understand that we're just average, everyday people. We just don't have sight. You know what I'm saying? We like to do everything they like to do as far as having fun. So it's not like you can't have fun if you're there with us, but because they're stuck on all of these stereotypes,
Yep.
they don't come.
It's like when I tell some people, like I'll tell you about you, Pedro, I'll tell my tia about your YouTube channel,
Mm-hmm.
and she's like, and that's Diego in Spanish, in English, he's blind. I'm like, yeah, you're talking to me. I'm blind. What do you mean, baby's blind? Well, I didn't know you could have. So, of course, that's the older culture, I guess. I don't know, but especially in our culture, the Mexican culture, like pobrecito, which means poor child, and it's not like that. It's not like that. You know what I'm saying? It's not where just because we're blind, we could do stuff, folks. It might take us a little more time. I'm not gonna lie to you, but we could do it. Like you said, Pedro, cutting the grass. I mean, I've done it, and it might take me the whole day,
Yeah.
but I did it, right? So it's like when we do the rocks. We have landscape, and I go in there, and my wife tells me more or less where it's at. Okay, I sit there and just start putting the little weeds that come out from the side, and people are like,
Yeah.
"Oh, you're so stupid. Why don't you just get a grass trimmer?" Well, this is my way to do it. Let me do it, right? It works. I pull the weeds out, so I don't see. Somebody might walk by and say, "What is that guy doing on his knees pulling the? Why don't you just use a grass trimmer?" Well, I can't see it to trim it, so I'll do it the
Mm-hmm.
other way, right? I pull it.
Mm-hmm.
You
But
know.
those little edgers, sometimes they're able to pull. You know what? They have a gripping tool for that too, George. You grip up and you just pull up and it takes the weeds out.
Well, I take
But
it from the roots,
you
and
can't do it. You can't do that when in the rock area, Pedro. That's only
no,
when the weeds are
Oh,
coming up
okay.
in the
He's in a
grass.
rocky area.
yeah. And
Yeah.
then be honest with you, that's therapy for me. I'm sitting there, my wife she's not. Well, I can't say she's bothering me, but she's not telling me what to do. And I'm just there by myself. I'm pulling the weeds. The dogs are around me, so it's just my time. But The point
Mhm.
is,
Right.
that's the way, like you say, Mr. Davis. This is the way I do it. Let me be. Right? I pull the weeds this way. It might look stupid to you or somebody across the street, but it's the way we do it. But like I said, we can do it. It might take us a little longer. Like to clean. You clean your room, right, Mr. Davis? Your house. I know Britt does. I know Pedro does. Pedro cooks, folks. I don't even cook. I should be in the PT program. Look
I
at
was
cook for his
setting up
kids.
lighting at Monica's house. Where we got this lamp, and I was setting it up, and it has scenes like this LED lamp could make lava, like lava flow, or you could tell it to change to scene fire, and it changes colors and it projects
Oh
it on the
wow.
wall a little bit, right? So when I was telling Monica, look, we should buy one here and put it over there. But people might say, well, you're blind. Why are you thinking of lighting? You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? But the thing is, you want your place still to look cool. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? To me, it's like I'm picturing it in my mind. But even when I had my site and have my place, I will put lights up, and it's all about lighting, how you make the space feel and stuff like that. You know what I mean?
And it goes to the
Because
point where we're saying about we want to be normal, like you said, Mr. Davis. If somebody comes to our home, it's not just gonna be a wall and a chair. We
No,
want to put a rug and maybe some pictures up, and just to make it like a homely place. Not an institution,
I agree.
right? You walk into a room like, wow, are you? Is this a foster care home? No, you know.
Mhm.
But it's good to have this discussion and this kind of platform so people can understand that that we're just normal people. We just can't see. We do everything. That like cooking for ourselves. You know, making our. I still iron.
George, I was showing my son how to ride a bike that I still hopped on a bike being blind, not knowing where I'm going. I know it was a straight
That's good.
path and I'm in a big parking lot, but I needed to show him how to ride a bike,
I would have loved to do that, bro. I would have done that. Heck yeah.
you
That's
know?
cool.
Well, I was
Yeah,
in a
yeah.
big open space. I still could gain my balance, it's still, it's like what they say, you hop on it and it's like riding a bike. It is still the same. It's just I don't know. I can't go so fast and stuff, but I was teaching them to ride my bike, but people are like, but I was finding it difficult
No, of
because
course,
I,
of
I
course.
can't see him trying to
Mhm.
do it, and I can't coach him on the way he looks. I could coach him on how I feel and how to try to gain his balance, but I can't see if he's losing all his balance or what he's doing wrong
The
because I
technique
don't
and all
have
that. Yeah,
that
you're right.
visual,
Yeah, you're
you
right.
know. But to me, it's like I'll try. Don't get me wrong, I'll try. You know what I mean? Even though I'll get some assistance, and my son's now he knows how to ride a bike. Later on, I told him when you get bigger, we're gonna do tandem. you know,
Yeah, yeah.
you
But
know
you know
what I
what,
mean?
Pedro? I think you're teaching your son a lesson, believe it or not, to where he didn't see you like, oh, my dad's blind and he can't do nothing, right? So later on, when he interacts with someone else's blind, he can say, oh yeah, why can't you do that? My dad does it. Like cook, right? Let's say
Mhm.
he meets someone that doesn't cook. You can't cook. My dad does. He's blind. Why can't you? So in a way, you kind of teaching him how it is to live a normal life, even though you can't see, right? So,
Yeah,
and I
yeah.
think
And you're
a lot of
showing
times
them
we.
not to give up because, I mean, bottom line, you haven't given up. Just because you're blind, you ain't giving up. You're still trying to live your best life.
Mhm.
Yeah,
You
Amen to
know,
that. That's our motto, right? For Blind United. Live your best life,
live your best life.
Yes, sir. If that
yeah,
means if it takes you an hour, 2 hours to clean your room, so what? If it takes 3 hours to clean your bathroom, so what? As long as you do it.
yeah.
Right?
I,
But
I
but
I I like my room neat. I'm a needy
yeah.
person. I like to place
Mhm.
everything where it goes, and that's how I want it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But that's just me and stuff.
But that's a good thing to say, Pedro. So those who are excited and watching this or hearing this, like Miss Paula, is if I go to your home and leave something on the counter, if you could please just leave it there because I that's my spot, right? Like, oh, okay, I left it by the TV. It's right here. But if you move it, I'm like, where is it? Right. So, and that's the first thing when I met Lulu, I would put things and she would clean up and she would move it. And I come back, I'm like, where's my Coke? Oh, I put it on the
Mm,
table. Oh, and so it took her a little bit of time to realize if I leave it there, especially like cups on the table. I didn't know her cup was there. I hit it and knock over.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
happens to me, George. I'll be like,
yeah.
because my kids are sighted, and when I go to their house, like, they're there, and and sometimes I'll be like, oh my God,
Yeah,
but
I do that.
yeah,
But you
so
know what she
that
does now? When we're eating, she puts the glass on her side of the table before she would like put it towards me. But now she moved it so I won't hit it. So like I said, it takes accommodating, right? Like and like for example, she had a pot, a plant near her front door, and she moved it. 'Cause every time I would turn, boom. And of course, it's up to me too to realize, hey, move to the right. So it goes both ways too, right?
So I thought
But
you didn't do broccoli, George.
the what?
You said you don't do broccoli.
No, a potted plant. Oh,
Well, you said pot plant.
good point. Not yet. Texas won't. I don't know why Texas hasn't done that, but yet.
Because
And that's
they're
the thing.
Republican, George.
Go
True.
to California, George. Go hang out with us.
Yeah, and the thing about when it comes to that kind of stuff, that the broccoli, we're talking about marijuana. There's some benefits. There are medical benefits. They are medical benefits. It's not just getting high and whatever. I've seen people with epilepsy. I've seen people with chronic back injuries that have the
No,
pain.
there are kids with epilepsy that the only thing that helps them is CBD.
Yep. Well, that wrestler that was governor, Minnesota.
Ventura.
What was his name?
Yeah, Ventura, Jesse Ventura.
His wife. He was on the podcast. His wife had real bad epilepsy, really bad, and there's all the traditional therapy and medicines. And then one day he was in Colorado. He said, because he's a big proponent on marijuana, and him and the wife went to Colorado and introduced him to CBD.
Yeah, CBD stuff,
She
CBD products.
She puts it under her tongue twice a day, and he says ever since then she has not gotten an episode.
Yeah.
I'm like, wow, that is cool. And he even got emotional about it because he's like, to see that my wife would have him 3-4 times a day, and now she hasn't had one in over 15 years. I'm like, wow, that's powerful,
And there's a difference between CBD and marijuana. The components, they're both in the marijuana plant, but CBD is the non-psychoactive ingredient.
Is that what's the other one, Pedro?
And the other one is THC. That's the psychoacting one that gets you high. So when you see a product that says only CBD and gives you the percentage, it's not meant to get you high. It's meant for more depends on the way you use it and consume it,
medical.
I know. Mm-hmm.
And I wonder if I get high, will I be more of a comedian?
Well, I know people that sometimes they have the plant and it's only CBD, and they buy a joint and they only do it for their migraines when they get a migraine, and that's the only way they could get a migraine away.
Yes,
but they don't.
My wife, when my wife was still alive, she had COPD. And it used to put a lot of pressure on her rib cage, her lungs being swollen and whatever. But the only thing that would help her was some CBD cream. And I would rub it on her ribs every night to where she could lay down and get some sleep. Otherwise, her ribs just hurt her so bad she couldn't sleep.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's a lot of great benefits, to the...
I guess I associate.
What's the original plant is actually what? Hemp is the original, and it's all derived from hemp.
Mm-hmm.
So again, it's just folks back in the day, they used to make tents and clothes out of hemp.
Yep, they still do. In Austin, Texas, they still do.
Mm-hmm.
And I think what it is, Mr. Davis.
If you guys ever seen that show, Counts Customs?
No.
Anyway, it's a guy in Vegas who he does custom cars. Ziggy Marley found his daddy's Mercedes in a storage container. He sent it over there to Count Customs to be refurbished.
Oh, yes.
And he redid the upholstery in that car out of hemp.
Really?
Yeah.
That is cool. I think what it is, the marijuana they associate with what? Cheech and Chong? the smoke-filled rooms and yeah,
I mean, but
Well,
they've always, put the
Reap
what
of
is
Madness, remember
stigma,
that?
yeah,
the stigma about weed being a gateway drug, and starting all of this whatever. Blah, blah, blah. Man, come on, leave that mess alone. That ain't happening. You
no,
know what I'm saying? It's not happening. So, sound like we got our final music playing. So on that note, I guess it's time for us to get up out of here. Well, we made it happen again. Technical difficulties out here on my end, no power and stuff like that. But that just shows how dedicated we are to you guys. We're going to be here regardless how we got to do it. We're going to make it happen. So, again, we got a couple groups for you tonight. We got Brittany with the AI group, and then we got Pedro with the technology group, which starts at 5 o'clock, then Pedro at 6 o'clock. So, again, man, thanks everybody for coming out and hanging out with us. And just hearing us going all over the map with the conversation, but it's all good. We're just like everybody else. Again, we're just everyday folks. So, on that note, let's call it a day, and we'll see you guys tomorrow on the next one. Have a great day.